What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day today. Having a look at what is going on right now. Look at all this beautiful green in the cryptocurrency market today. What's going on? Should I be worried? I thought we're supposed to be dumping to below $9,000. Bitcoin is dead. Should I be running for the hills right now? Is this a fake out? Well, having a look at what is going on right now, basically we do continue to just sort of bounce around that sort of $10,000 level. Every time we dip below it, we bounce back up, we bounce back up again. Now, some people are saying this looks a bit like a falling wedge pattern, which would technically be bullish. Other people saying not so much. So we're definitely going to get into the specifics of what's going on in the charts right now, whether or not there's going to be some more pain in the cryptocurrency markets. But I do want to talk about a few things. Number one is the fact that we have Bitcoin and gold actually being the most correlated that they've ever been, especially on their 2-month average recently. So what does that mean, considering that we're actually seeing gold fall right now as, basically the stock markets are trying to have a little bit of recovery. So we're going to go into that, sort of talk about the macro picture. Also want to discuss the fact that we have some big time Wall Street players saying that they're going 50% in on Bitcoin. Now, these are people that are usually a lot more risk adverse, and they're just saying, hey, we're going to go in with half our position because Bitcoin seems like it's the most promising place to basically park our funds in case everything around us collapses. So we're going to discuss that. Also, Dave Portnoy has a special message for everyone, and not to mention the fact that we did have, once again, Bitcoin mentioned on the Joe Rogan experience. So getting a lot of hype out there in the media. So we'll talk about all that today. And I do need to end on one little scam. Could be a big scam, depends on how bad it is, that some people are saying is starting to emulate what we saw with the Plus token situation. Now, we know that Plus token was responsible for a massive sell on the markets with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it did, in fact, affect the price pretty bad. So they're saying there could be something like that happening again. We'll get into that at the end of the video. If all that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, consider it. We do this for the most part every single day. Without further ado, we're going to do some TA, and then we're going to get to the exciting part of the video. Now, you can see right here, we are still consolidating underneath the original resistance. So technically the resistance is kind of just acting as resistance again, right? We put in kind of a really ugly looking sort of Bart Simpson pattern, right? Still trying to push above it. I am keeping my eye on this VPVR right here, the red line. I still think we could potentially fall a little bit lower. We don't have to, but if we do, we still do have room. Like I said, I'd still be bullish if we did. Would just be a better opportunity for accumulation. You can see right here, we are still on this trend right here. Now, if we zoom in and we have a look, let me just show you basically what some people are saying. Now, we have actually caught the bottom of this, which is pretty nice, right? But the thing is this basically, oops, let me get my trend line out here. Is this basically starting to, paint a little bit of a falling wedge pattern like this? Now, technically, that means that Bitcoin could, bounce around, in this area for a little bit, and then we could be looking for that breakout, right here to the upside. Now, other people are saying, it could potentially be a downsloping bear flag. That's what Big Ched says over here, rather than a falling wedge with a steep flagpole that is suggesting a continuation of the break to the downside, right? So you kind of got to look at that. Keep in mind, we still haven't actually closed the CME futures gap. Some people in the Telegram group this morning saying we don't need to, or maybe we'll pump up before dumping back down. Obviously, these markets, they're going to trade all over the place. There's going to be lots of fake outs. Right now is definitely a crazy time if you're trading. It's very hard to decide what Bitcoin is going to be doing in the immediate short term. Long term, we know where the price is going. Short term could get a little bit crazy, right? I do still think there's that chance of going down and getting support on the 200 daily moving average. I spoke about that multiple times. We still have support on the total market cap. And we are still well above both resistance and support on the macro trend. But today we do have the markets looking like they're trying to have a little bit of a green day, right? Now, interestingly enough, you've also seen gold having a massive, not a massive, but it has had about a 6%, 7% pullback, which, is a lot when you're talking traditional assets and things like that. It has recently had the rally. So the one thing we need to talk about is, is Bitcoin really separated yet? It really isn't. We'd like to pretend it is. We like to pretend that Bitcoin is, this ultimate, safe haven asset, which long term it is, but it does seem like short term it kind of mimics what's happening in traditional markets. And the 60-day correlation between gold and Bitcoin is actually above 0.5, which is pretty high. In fact, it's the highest it's been pretty much ever. Actually, to be completely honest with you, I mean, you could see according to coin metrics, this chart, well, it's kind of behind me, but this chart goes all the way back to 2011. So the positive correlation has strengthened sharply, especially since July of this year. The sell-off of the greenback, the dollar, right? The global reserve currency is seen as a boding well for scarce assets. So they're saying this could be good for gold and Bitcoin. Now, I do have a few videos we're going to play today. The first one I want to play is actually from Barry Silbert. Now, he's over from Grayscale, right? We've seen Grayscale, absolutely mass accumulation going on over there with Bitcoin and Ethereum buying up a third of all the Bitcoin coming out, some days even more than that, that's being mined. And I want to just play this clip super quick of, when he was talking about his sort of projection for Bitcoin compared to gold moving forward. We're going to talk about it, and I got a lot more clips for you guys, so stick around.
What's the fair market value of Bitcoin? I mean, this is maybe the existential philosophical question here, but what do you honestly think it is, and how would you even decide how you were going to value it?
We look at Bitcoin as the next generation's version of gold. Gold is a $8-9 trillion asset class. And so, I think over time, Bitcoin is going to capture a larger and larger portion of that asset class. Look, Bitcoin is a couple $100 billion in value. And when you start having investors like Paul Tudor Jones and Mark Lazary and Chamath Palihapitiya, saying, hey, look, it's okay to put 50, 100 basis points in this asset class. It really doesn't take a lot of money to move a large amount of the gold market into the Bitcoin market.
I think that's something a lot of people actually don't realize too, is how fast the Bitcoin price could actually surge to the upside if all of these big players even allocated just a small percentage of their portfolio, even just 2% of all of their portfolio. You would see Bitcoin easily skyrocketing through $20,000 to $20 million. My goodness, I don't know if I'd be making any videos if we had a $20 million Bitcoin. I think we'd all be lounging around on our yachts. But $20,000 Bitcoin is not out of the cards, especially if these guys do start getting involved. In fact, you had Anthony Pompliano. He actually was talking over here on one of his things. I guess this was with on this. I don't know if it was on his channel or on Nino's channel, but basically, let me just show you what he said real quick.
What would you tell me, somebody who is a crazy gambler? What should I do? Tell me right.
You want me to tell you what I've done?
Yeah.
Over 50%.
You're 50%?
So he says he put in 50%.
Over 50% of single cryptocurrency. I'm just trying to get my head around that.
But that's not even the point. Sorry if the volume was a little bit low. The guy recorded it, and then that was recording off my thing while I was talking. So anyway, but look right here. Raoul Pal. Now, keep in mind, he is a big-time Wall Street veteran. He's been very vocal about Bitcoin lately, and he commented 20 hours ago and said, I'm over 50%. So is that reckless, or is that actually just the smart thing to do? I know a lot of people in cryptocurrency that are like, yeah, I mean, I'm all in. Going all in is a little bit crazy. I was all in crypto for like 3 years. Obviously now I am a little more hedged in different areas, but Bitcoin by far, by a landslide, is still my largest holding out of everything that I have right now. Well over, it's about 70% right now, I'd say. So yeah, I mean, you guys know where my allegiance, is right now. Obviously, it is with Bitcoin. And the reason that Raoul Pal said he's so bullish is that he sees ongoing macroeconomic trends basically just being really good for Bitcoin, right? He basically went on to say the other day when Jerome Powell came out and was talking about what they're going to do with basically just continuing to print money all the time. He has shown that there is zero tolerance, referring to Powell, that he has zero tolerance for deflation, and they're basically going to do anything to stop it, and that's good for the two hardest assets, which is obviously gold and Bitcoin. So Powell wants inflation. He says, I don't think he gets true demand push inflation, but he will get fiat devaluation in conjunction with the other central banks all on the same mission. He added in a separate analysis as well that there's a likelihood that Bitcoin might in fact be the only asset worth owning. That's pretty crazy, right? the only asset worth owning, throw it all out the window. Now, Dave Portnoy, he's come out. He actually was saying he lost about $700,000 in that stock market move the other day. And a lot of people have been saying, you know, he's turned into a crypto hater. Well, I actually retweeted this on my Twitter, but if you haven't seen it, he has a little bit of a message for everybody out in cryptocurrency. So figured I'd do my part and share it with all you guys, all right?
I want someone to cut what I'm about to say. I'm turning down the music. I'm turning it down. I've been doing this internet thing a long time. Almost 2 decades. I've met all sorts of people. Some I like, some I don't like. Some that are funny, some that are not funny. Some that talk a lot, some that don't talk about frauds, Ponzi's, you name it. The crypto people, just about the most enjoyable group of people I've ever met. They're f***ing crazy. They're crazy on social media. They're crazy on Twitter. They have the same personality I do. They're gamblers at heart. They sling it. They can laugh at themselves. They just want to make money. I will be in crypto. My heart is crypto, but I just got to figure it out. Right now I'm dealing with the stock market. All right, crypto. But I love you, crypto. I love the Link Marines. I love you. I don't like the Orchard people. The Orchard people are a joke. Get the Orchard people out of here. Other than that, though, I like them all. I want that cut. I want that said to them.
So you can watch the rest of it if you want. And I realize now I got to bleep that out because I don't want to demonetize this video. But that being said, guys, also speaking of demonetization, I'm not going to be able to play this clip from Joe Rogan because, well, obviously he's Joe Rogan. But make sure you check this out. He had Adam Curry on, and he went over and said to him, it's this guy right here, and he said, you're going to need at least 1 Bitcoin. And here's a little bit of a transcript. He said, let me tell you, the apocalypse is coming and you're going to need a Bitcoin, at least 1. I was very anti-Bitcoin until I sold a bunch of them around $900. I got them for nothing. People just gave them to me in the beginning. So Joe Rogan went on to ask him why, he cared so much about Bitcoin specifically and what would happen if Bitcoin did become the digital currency. Would it just become manipulated like all the other currencies? And he said 10 years of data has shown that Bitcoin really is the only one thing that you can trust. That's really the only one that you cannot manipulate. All the other coins are based off of it. And they actually went on to talk about altcoins and how, basically, well, they didn't really go into it too far, but he was basically saying Bitcoin is sort of where you want to park your money if you're going to speculate on this space. The altcoins, they come and they go. And that is something that I do try to stress on this channel. I was really only about Bitcoin for the majority of the end of the bear market into the beginning of the bull market. Obviously, I have sort of diverse my portfolio a little bit more into the altcoins because, come on, altcoins, you saw some of them doing 1,000x's, right? Wi-Fi. So I'm not going to miss out on those gains. But at the end of the day, I think if you watch this channel, you know by now that my ultimate goal is to accumulate more Bitcoin. So, sometimes we make amazing gains on altcoins. Sometimes we totally screw up and, we lose on altcoins. But that's the risk that you take. And at the end of the day, you may have a different goal than I have. Maybe you want to accumulate more dollar value. Maybe you want to accumulate more Ethereum or something else. For me, I want more Bitcoin. So if I can find a way to get more Bitcoin, I will trade the altcoins. But ultimately for me, it's still Bitcoin. And I know that sounds boring and some people don't like that, but hey guys, I've been in the market now for 4 years. I've had a YouTube channel for almost 3, and I can tell you, these things move in cycles. These coins, they come, they go. Bitcoin remains at the top and it always stays strong. And eventually, most people, once you dabble in the altcoins enough, you go through a few cycles, you usually end up having a little bit more Bitcoin on your next round. That's just what I've seen. Could be different for you. Let me know. Drop a comment in the description if you totally disagree with me. For me, I always try to hold majority Bitcoin and, now I do dabble in the altcoins as well, but kind of felt like that was a good time to make that little public service announcement. Now, speaking of altcoins, we know that the Plus token scam was basically a Bitcoin pyramid. They also had some Ethereum. They had about over $2 billion worth of deposits over the course of it was about half a year that it took place. And when these guys finally decided, and actually some people said that the reason that the market pumped so much was because of Plus token basically just accumulating all this money to buy into the pyramid scheme. Well, on the flip side, we know that we can pinpoint literally multiple times when we had the dump from the $14,000 top last year, and it perfectly corresponded with Plus token. Well, Looks like now there could be another one. So if you've ever been on the ETH gas station over at Etherscan, you might have noticed something called Forsage or Smartway Forsage. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Forsage. Not too sure. But anyway, basically, Dovey Wan, founder over at Primitive Capital, she said that this is a Ponzi scheme, and it looks like it could be the next big one. She said that it has made such an impact that the SEC is actually looking into a warning regarding this and other crypto scams in the region. So on the potential for Ethereum's price to suffer from if this pyramid scheme Forsage collapses without the funds being frozen by authorities, she basically said just for whoever lives in this, little bit of crypto bubble, the ETH floor price is not far from a few food coin scams or potential DeFi vault explosions. Sadly, from the liveliness of Forsage, the ongoing ETH version of Plus token tracking mega Ponzi activities with crypto on-ramp has been my best micro strategy. So basically, in a nutshell, I totally botched what she said, but be careful and watch out, and hopefully this doesn't have an impact. Now, if this does end up being some kind of a Ponzi scheme or whatever, and they do get caught and they do dump on the markets, I would expect it to have a little bit of an issue, a little bit of a, maybe possible effect on the price. But as we've seen with Plus token, long term, ultimately, you really can't keep the prices of the cryptos down. And hey, if they want to dump on us, I'll buy the coins for cheap. Not the Ponzi coins, the cheap Bitcoin and ETH, of course. So just wanted to warn you guys about that. And also, I've been talking a lot about the Upbots sort of up-and-coming project. I'm pretty excited about these guys. And you can see that now they have actually said their big announcement is that they are going to be listed on FTX, and they're going to have their IEO over there. Now, unfortunately, FTX is not very friendly for U.S. citizens. But then again, none of them are. But that being said, that is where it's going to be. And I'll keep you guys updated on that when that comes out moving forward. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate all your support. You guys bored out of your mind yet? You want Bitcoin to go to the moon? Well, look, all I could tell you is from experience, sometimes it sucks when these situations happen. The markets dump, you lose money on paper, but once the price stabilizes, we get back above 10,000, we're headed to 15K, we're breaking all-time highs. You look back on this and say, man, wish I had bought more. That's basically every situation. I mean, unless, something crazy happens. But take it as a blessing, not a curse. And so that's it for today. Thanks for coming back. I do enjoy you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the channel. If you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Free Telegram group below. Sign up. Check it out. It's fun. We hang out and talk all day. That's it for me. Thanks again. My name's K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.